Hey there, math people. Welcome back. Today we're taking a look at lesson 1.6. So make sure you have your math notebook out. Open up to the next page. Make sure you write lesson 1.6 at the top. Today's lesson is about tables and graphs. Okay. And with tables and graphs, make sure you write tables and graphs at the top of your page too. With tables and graphs, we are looking at data. Data is an important vocabulary word, so you want to make sure you write that down. Data is information, facts, or numbers that describe something. A collection of data is easier to understand when it is organized in a table or a graph. So let's take a look at a few tables and graphs. The data in the table below shows the number of cars produced by three major automobile manufacturers way back in the day. Back when I was little. So, here with passenger car production in thousands. Here's the list of the years: 1970, 1975, 1980, 1985, 1990, and 1995. And we have three different car companies. Company A, maybe that was Ford. Company B, General Motors. Company C, Chrysler, how about that? Or Jeep or something. Who knows? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Company A, Company B, and Company C. Now, as you can see with Company A, let's take a look at Company A's passenger car production. The line graph to the right organizes the data in a different way than the table. So in this one, we're looking strictly at Company A. And we have all three companies in our table. Now we can see that with Company A in 1970, they produced, now this is in thousands, so this would be, if you looked at 1273, that would be 1273, and then add 3 zeros after that, and that's how many cars. So it's actually 1,273,000. But that's okay, it's graphed this particular way so we can take a look at it. So 1970, 1,273,000. 1975, 903,000, 1980, 639,000, and so on, right? We have the different years and the different numbers of cars that were produced. And that's the information in the table. Now, when we look at the graph, we can see across the bottom, we have the year, and every line here is a different year on the graph, and then the number in thousands, and so it starts at 0 at the bottom and goes up by 200s toward the top. And it works for this graph because in 1970 it was 1273, and to get that exactly on 1273 on a graph, it's not going to be exactly right? So, and then we keep adding different data points for the different years. So 1985 was 1266, so a little above that there. Down in 1990, the production decreased to 727,000 and then 577,000. So they're making less cars. Now we can use this information to answer some questions. So let's take a look at that. During which 5-year period did Company A's car production decrease? That means it went down, right? When did it decrease the least? In a 5-year period. Well, these are each 5-year periods: 1970, 1975, 1980, 1985. And we can look at the graph and decide, because that's going to be easier. If we look at the graph, we can find out which 5-year period did it decrease, did it go down the least amount. And we can see here that from 1990 to 1995, it went down the least because the line is less steep. It's shorter, it's less steep, and so we can see right there that it went down the least. And so we can answer that question. From 1990 to 1995, it went down, it decreased the least. And then the next question says, during which 5-year period did Company A's car production decrease the most? When did it decrease the most? So when did it go down the most? Where does it have the steepest downward motion? So we can look at our graph and go, oh, look at here. This is where it went down the most. From here to here, that's a lot. that it went down in that 5-year period. So that would be from 1985 to 1990. Okay, so the graphs definitely make it easier to answer a few general questions about the data in the table. Now, if you didn't copy this down, don't sweat it, but you're going to have to copy down the next one for me, okay? So let's look at this next one here, passenger car production in thousands, and we are looking at now at Company B. I didn't write it down. Company B. Okay, now I already made the graph for you. You're going to need some graph paper, so if you don't have graph paper, it might be hard to make your own, but I'll have some for you in class if you need it. So let's go with Company B. So let's come down here. In 1970, it was 2017. Now you're going to want to copy this graph first of all before you get started. So pause the video, copy the graph, you'll be fine, it's all good. All right, so in 1970, it was 2017. So I'll go over to 1970 and gonna go up to 2017. Now I can't put it exactly on that, but I can probably pretty close to that. In 1975, 1008. So 1808. So there's 1500, this would be 1750, so probably about there, somewhere in there. 1980, we're looking at 1307. So let's see, 1000, this is 1250 because it's halfway between 1000 and 1500, so just a little above that would probably be around 1307. 1985 is 1636. So I'm going to go up here to, there's 15, this would be 17, so somewhere between those two, probably pretty close. The next number is 1377 in 1990, so 12, yeah, probably about there. And then 1396, be a little bit higher than that for that next one. And then we connect those dots with our line. And there we have our line graph. Okay? Now, during which 5-year period, here's our question, which 5-year period did Company B car production increase the most? When did it go up the most? All right, so we're going to be looking for the places where it went up. Well, the only two places it went up were here and here. But which one has the steepest line? How that it went up most? Well, and the answer to that question is here to here. That's the steepest line. When did it increase the least? Well, increasing the least would probably be here. So you can answer those questions. Pretty easy, right? Between 1980, 1985 is when it decreased the most. Increased the most, and from 1990 to 1995 is when it went up the least. Okay? Now, we can fill out our table here, our graph, based on Company C. So you're going to want to copy down the graph again. I know, right? So go ahead and pause the video, copy down the graph again, and I'll wait, right? And then we look at the Company C data. Now you'll notice that there's a break in the graph right here because, well, the numbers are really high. So we had to make that break in the graph. I'm going to populate all those dots for you right away, and you can copy it down. Okay, well, that was really fast, right? And go ahead and copy those down. Now you can see that I just followed the table and put those points in, and now I can answer the question. During which 5-year period did Company C's car production decrease the most? So when did it go down the most? And it's pretty easy to see. It went down a lot right here. Holy cow. And the graph helps us see that. And graphs can be kind of tricky, but I have faith in you. Now, here's a little bit of work for you to do. Not a lot. So go ahead and you'll need more graph paper, of course. Fill out your graph, put the data from the table in the graph, draw the line graph, and then answer the question there. Not a lot to do, but there's some drawing involved. Give it your best. Have a great day. Don't forget to be awesome. I'll see you next time.